Dad, stop calling me. I have my own life. Then the line went dead. No goodbye. Just a cold, hollow silence. That sound hurt more than a knife in my chest. I sat there, holding the phone against my ear, listening to nothing. My hand was shaking. I had spent my whole life raising him. I changed his diapers. I paid for his college. And now, asking for a ride to the doctor was bothering him. My name is Frank. I am 75. And that phone call was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because that night, I stopped being a beggar. If you are tired of hearing excuses, if you feel like a burden to the people you raised, then listen closely. I am going to show you the 5 habits that replaced my loneliness with power. For years, I lived like a pauper in a house I owned. I had a leaky faucet in the kitchen, drip, drip, drip. That sound kept me awake at night. It was like a torture device. I called my son 3 times. "I'll be there Saturday, Dad," he said. Saturday came. The faucet still dripped. Mark never showed up. I looked at my bank book. I had savings, but I was hoarding that money to leave them a nice inheritance. I was suffering today so they could be rich tomorrow. That afternoon, I broke the rule and bought my own dignity. I called a local plumber. He came in an hour. He fixed the leak. I wrote him a check for $80. When I handed him that check, I didn't feel poorer. I felt powerful. The silence in the kitchen was beautiful. No dripping, no begging, no waiting. Stop saving every penny for children who won't even mow your lawn. Use your money to make your life easier right now. Your inheritance is not their paycheck. It is your freedom fund. But a quiet house is dangerous if your body is giving up on you. This brings me to the 2nd habit, and this one hurts at first. My favorite leather recliner was killing me. It was so soft. It hugged my back perfectly, but every time I tried to get up, my knees screamed. It felt like someone had poured sand into my joints. I used to think, I'll rest today. I'll walk when I feel better. That is a lie. You don't rest to feel better. You move to feel better. I started habit number 2. Motion is lotion. The first morning, I only made it to the mailbox. My legs were shaking. The cold air stung my lungs. I wanted to quit. But I remembered the floor I fell on. I remembered the helplessness. So I took one more step. Now, I walk 20 minutes every morning, rain or shine. When I get back, my skin is tingling. The rust in my knees is gone. I am not an athlete, but I am not a statue either. If you stop moving, you turn into stone. And stones don't live. They just sit there waiting to be moved. But a strong body is useless if you are feeding it garbage. This next habit is something most seniors do out of sadness, and it destroys them from the inside out. I used to eat dinner standing over the kitchen sink. It was always the same: 2 slices of dry toast and a cup of lukewarm tea. Why bother dirtying a pan for just one person? That is what I told myself. But really, I was punishing myself for being alone. The silence at the dining table felt too big to face. Then I realized something shameful. I treated my dog better than I treated myself. I bought him premium meat while I fed myself crumbs. So I started habit number 3, the solo feast. I went to the butcher. I bought a thick ribeye steak. I didn't save it for a special occasion. I was the special occasion. When I threw that meat into the hot pan, tss, the sound was like music. The smell of garlic and butter filled the empty house. It didn't smell lonely anymore. It smelled like a home. I set the table properly. Fork on the left, knife on the right. I sat down and ate like a king. Stop waiting for company to cook a good meal. Feed yourself with respect. But even with a full stomach, there was still one thing I was terrified of. It was a small black rectangle sitting on my coffee table, and it was the main reason I felt helpless. My smartphone made me feel like an idiot. It was a smooth black mirror that laughed at me. Every time I needed a ride to the dentist, I had to call my grandson. He would come over, sigh loudly, and tap the screen so fast my eyes couldn't follow. "It's easy, Grandpa," he would say, but his tone said, "You are useless." I hated that feeling, the feeling of being left behind by the world. So I adopted habit number 4, conquer the machine. I sat down with a notepad and a pen. I opened YouTube on my old computer. I searched how to order an Uber. I watched the video 10 times. I wrote down every step, tapped the black square, typed the address, confirm. My fingers felt clumsy on the glass. I was sweating, but I did it. 10 minutes later, a silver car pulled up to my curb. I didn't ask my son. I didn't beg for a favor. I just got in. The driver asked, "Where to, Frank?" That ride tasted like freedom. Learn the technology. Don't be afraid of breaking it. If you can learn to drive a stick shift or sew a dress pattern, you can learn to tap a screen. But there is one final habit that saved my soul. The first 4 keep you independent, but this last one keeps you human. It is the one thing most seniors are too scared to do. My world was tiny. It was just my 4 walls and the hope that my kids would visit. When they didn't come, my world was empty. I realized I needed a place that wasn't home and wasn't my son's house. This is habit number 5. Find your third place. I started going to a small coffee shop on the corner every Tuesday morning. The first time, I felt awkward. I stared at my shoes. I felt like an old piece of furniture that someone had left behind. But I kept going. On the 3rd week, the young girl behind the counter smiled when I walked in. "Large, dark roast, right, Frank?" she asked. My heart actually skipped a beat. She knew my name. She wasn't my family. She didn't owe me anything. She just saw me. Now I have a community. I have people who notice when I am not there. I am 75. My hip still hurts sometimes. My phone still doesn't ring very often, but I don't care. I have my morning walk. I have my steak dinners. I have my Uber app. And I have my coffee shop. I am not lying on the floor waiting to be saved anymore. I am too busy living. If you are ready to stop waiting and start living, click that subscribe button. Let's grow old and happier together.